And with Margaret Luft, Director of Counseling at Lifespan. And Margaret, you work with entire families, and especially reaching into the next generation, the children who are affected by a domestic violent situation. Uh, what kind of things is Lifespan doing to help break the cycle of violence?
Well, I think one of the bedrock principles in the theories of domestic violence is that domestic violence is a learned behavior. And if it can be learned, it can also be unlearned. But if we're going to unlearn behaviors, we have to be willing to teach young people what to fill that space. So a lot of the work that we do with young people is to help them understand, number one, they're not responsible for the distress in their parents' marriage, that they, as children, cannot fix their parents' marriage, but they have a right to be safe and happy and free of violence themselves. So we call it feelings education, or nonviolent conflict resolution education, or relationship education. But we talk to kids all the time, boys and girls, about what they want for their own relationships as they grow up, and to instill in them the sense of personal power that they can choose so they can change, and that they are not on an inevitable path, that they can find positive role models and nurturing adults in other parts of their lives, and they can determine for themselves the kinds of marriages and families that they want when they go into the future.
What's the age range where you find it to be most crucial to reach these youngsters?
Well, we don't see children who are younger than 3 because they really need to be verbal and have some attention span to participate in the activities and the games. But we do see children as young as 3 years old, right up to the age of 18. I would say general principle is the earlier the better. But we also need to work with the non-abusing parent to sustain and promote at home the things that children are learning here in counseling, so that nonviolent conflict resolution, learning to express their feelings verbally and not hit, not call bad names, is something kids can learn in a counseling meeting, but then mom has to reinforce that at home. And it is usually the mom who is bringing the child in for services. And mother's own pain may often get in the way of being able to provide that kind of follow-through herself. So we do what we call family meetings, where children and parents and counselors sit together and talk about the difficulties at home, what kinds of exercises and interventions have been useful and helpful, and how they can be together as a family, be honest about their feelings and their fears and their frustration without being abusive to one another.